Hi everybody, I wanted to take a minute also to quickly describe how you can modify your Omeka installation to look different and to act different. Uh, the I should say differently, I'm sorry. Uh, the first thing I'd like to show you was I mentioned briefly before, it's kind of messy if you have students add items to Omeka and they don't know exactly what to fill out in the metadata because there are just so many different metadata boxes. One way you can manage that to kind of uh, stop the problems before they happen is to go up here under plugins. So plugins are little things that can be added to an Omeka installation that kind of enhance the functionality. There are lots of different ones, some that you may not understand, but some that are actually quite useful. I'd say the number one most useful one, especially if you're going to use Omeka in K-12, is this hide elements. So notice hide admin specified metadata elements. So you can actually turn off and say, for example, that a book that's actually cited in Omeka only needs to have the author, the publisher, the date, and maybe a couple other things. That's totally up to you. So you can hide the elements, which just makes everything move much better. Another good example, oh, incidentally, if you want to do this, you would install it. And then, as you can see here, we now hide elements plugin was successfully installed. You can actually change depending on the role you give users, which I'll show you that in a second, who gets to see this and who doesn't. And then as you can see, these are all those things that it's asking you to fill out depending on what the thing is. And you can actually choose when to hide it, which is very useful, and then save those changes. If you'd like to get back to this, what you'll need to do is, after you've made changes, is you'll need to again go back to plugins and then go down here and you'll see that hide elements has been installed. You can deactivate it or uninstall it, but you can also configure it. So if you hit configure, you're back to that page. Okay, so that's how you deal with that. Also under plugins, a couple other ones, there is a docs viewer, which can be useful. So if you uploaded a PDF document, you can sometimes, or PowerPoint or Microsoft Word, you can upload them and you can actually see them within the dashboard. This is a way to build exhibits, which is kind of a fancier version for a collection. So if you had specific things across collections that you wanted to show off, you can make an exhibit. Down here a little farther then, beyond these, feel free to pick out ones you like, is social bookmarking. So this uses, add this to insert a customizable list of social bookmarking sites on each item page. So if somebody likes an item or wants to share an item, that'll give them Facebook, Twitter, etc. And you just hit install to deal with that. Going across the top here, those are plugins. There's appearance. This is sort of like changing your theme. So I think this was the default theme on my example site. As you can see, there are many other ones you can use to make things look differently. Feel free to play around with them. Also under appearance is your navigation. So you can choose what things will actually be on your menu when you look at your actual page. And settings has a lot of stuff you can kind of mess with, like how big the images will be, etc. And then of course, if you make any changes to this, definitely hit Save Changes. When you're having students do work on your Omeka installation, what you would just simply do to add them is you would invite them. So all you would need is the user email, and then you would decide what role they would have. So this is kind of similar to WordPress, but the concept is that you would probably not want them to be supers or admins because they can choose too many different possibilities. A contributor is the most basic thing, so they could contribute items. And a researcher would be somebody who has, a little bit more functionality. So these two are more restricted than the ones here are on top. But depending on how you use this, depending on your age level, you may make your own museum and then invite students to use it, or you may have students on Omeka.net actually making their own museums. Okay, so that really depends. As you get users, they'll line up here. and you'll be able to see them. Okay. If we go across to settings, these are basic things like who's the administrator, what's the site title, what's the description, etc. Okay. Under settings, there are general, search settings, which you may not worry about, element sets, which you may not worry about, item type elements can be useful because depending on what the item is, you can actually say what's restricted or what's expected, sorry. API I wouldn't worry about right now. Okay, so those are your general settings. Okay, so I wanted to show you how to modify your Omeka installation if you so desire. Thank you.